Welcome back to the Movie Buffer, and tonight we are going to be reviewing The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Make sure to stay until the end where I will talk about the true case this movie is based on. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It is a 2021 American supernatural horror film directed by Michael Chaves with a screenplay by David Leslie Johnson-McGoldrick from a short story by Johnson-McGoldrick and James Wan. The film serves as a sequel to The Conjuring in 2013 and The Conjuring 2 in 2016, and as the eighth installment in the Conjuring Universe. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga reprise their roles as paranormal investigators and authors Ed and Lorraine Warren, with Ruairi O'Connor, Sarah Catherine Hook, and Julian Hilliard also starring. Wan and Peter Safran return to produce the film, which is based on the trial of Arne Cheyenne Johnson, a murder trial that took place in 1981 Connecticut. 8-year-old David Glaskel, exorcism in 1981, July 15th. In the first scene, we even get the exorcist scene of the priest pulling up and walking up to the house in the middle of the night, complete with the hat and the briefcase, and all of it is very ominous. During the exorcism, things are not going well at all for the 8-year-old boy, so the boyfriend of the 8-year-old sister named Arne decided to speak to the demon inside of the boy, which he was told, of course, not to do, and he asked the demon to leave the boy alone because he was just a child and to take him instead. The demon does so, and it looks like everything is going to be okay because things get quiet for a while, like in a few months. Arne and his girlfriend Sarah, the sister of the 8-year-old David, are working and living at a dog shelter where Sarah works and Arne works in carpentry to help make ends meet. And then one day he started to see things that are not there and started seeing the people at the dog shelter and the people that he works with as demons. Arne is terrified and he kills Bruno Sauls, the landlord and manager of the dog shelter, which is where you see on the preview of the movie of Arne walking down the street covered in blood, not knowing what has just happened, and that's where the story actually begins. Arne gets charged with the murder of the manager. He stabs the victim 22 times, and the prosecution is going to charge him with first-degree murder and try for the death penalty. So it's up to our heroes to prove that Arne was actually possessed by the devil, or demon, in order to do this. In other words, he didn't do it. The devil made him do it. Hence the name of the movie. This is rarely something that happens. Usually what the defense will try to do is prove that the person was insane at the time, saying that they didn't know what they were doing and that maybe there was a diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic and the person is classified as legally insane. Therefore, they would not be given the death penalty. They would be given life in a criminally mental institution for the rest of their life or most of it. The movie is very good. It starts out really well. I love the acting. I love the set design. The movie is moving at a very good pace. It's not too slow. It's not too fast. It's moving like your normal criminal case depiction. After the preliminary test of Arne to see whether or not he is actually possessed, they did not get any kind of reading that he was actually possessed by a demon, so they said that they need to go back to the beginning to trace the evil entity's steps, so to speak, starting with when the boy David first encounters the demon. They start from the beginning because Ed and Lorraine Warren are puzzled why he is not showing any signs of being possessed by a demon, and since this is a spoiler-free review, I'm not going to tell you all that happens in the movie. The movie is definitely creepy. It is a little horrifying in some parts. It also has a few jump scares, but depending on how scary you are of these types of movies, it would depend on how high you jump. It is a mystery, so you are guessing throughout the movie to figure out what is actually going on, who is causing all this to happen, who has brought the demon, or is the demon just there on its own. So it's really a great murder mystery. It's quite fascinating throughout. I was on the edge of my seat to find out what was going on and what's happening. But it is not your over-the-top horror story where there's weird creatures running around every corner. It is very well done, very well paced. I thought it was quite fascinating, and I really enjoyed it. But it gives you quite a bit of insight into the occult, into Satanists, and into why people do what they do when it comes to becoming a Satanist. So I thought that was very interesting. It gives you information, which I love. When it comes to horror movies, I want to know why this is happening. I want to know where these spirits are coming from. And if you can explain it, I love when they actually do explain it. Or just give you information that you can at least leave the movie thinking, okay, I learned a little bit more about this particular occult world, whether you believe in it or not. I love getting the information. Excellent movies like The Exorcist, especially Exorcist 3, gives you tons of information about the occult, and that's what I like. I hate it when you just have some crazy monster running around killing people for really no reason whatsoever. It's really stupid. Even the demon has a reason, even if it's just chaos. And as I always say, I can't stand horror porn. And this is not horror porn. If you are expecting something that is very horrific, lots of jump scares and ugly, weird creatures from, everywhere, then you're going to be disappointed. And I think some of the critics were disappointed in this movie because you didn't get as much of that grotesqueness that you have gotten from some of the other Conjuring movies and the other movies inside the Conjuring universe. So if you want that, you may be disappointed in this movie. This movie is more straightforward. It's more, like I said, more of a murder mystery, a criminal mystery with some occult thrown in, as opposed to some of the other super scary stuff. I have to say that Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson have done such an amazing job at portraying Ed and Lorraine Warren. I just think they were perfect as far as being chosen to play these roles, and they have done an amazing job in each movie, and when you see them together, it just makes sense. And I'm so glad that they are willing to continue to do these movies each time because their chemistry working together is outstanding. I highly recommend the watch. As for the real case, the trial of Arne Cheyenne Johnson, he was a real person, also known as the Devil Made Me Do It case, is the first known court case in the United States in which the defense sought to prove innocence based on the defendant's claim of demonic possession and denial of personal responsibility for the crime. On November 24th, 1981, in Brookfield, Connecticut, Arne Cheyenne was convicted of first-degree manslaughter for the killing of his landlord, Alan Bono. As you can see, there are some name changes and slight differences from the case of the people and what happened in the actual movie. According to testimony by the Glaskel family, 11-year-old David Glaskel had played host to a demon after witnessing a number of increasingly ominous occurrences involving David. The family, exhausted and terrified, decided to enlist the aid of Ed and Lorraine Warren in a last-ditch effort to cure, quote-unquote, David. The Glaskel family, along with the Warrens, then proceeded to have multiple priests petition the church to have a formal exorcism performed on David. The process continued for several days, concluding when, according to the people present, a demon fled the child's body and took up residence within Arne. These events were documented in the book The Devil in Connecticut by Gerald Brittle. Several months later, Arne killed his landlord during a heated conversation. His defense lawyer argued in court that he was possessed, but the judge ruled that such a defense could never be proven and was therefore infeasible in court. Arne was subsequently convicted, though he only served 5 years of a 10 to 20-year sentence. The trial attracted media attention from around the world and has obtained a level of notoriety due to the numerous depictions of the events in literature and on television. So what do you think of the third installment of The Conjuring? Do you believe in demons, witches, or even mediums who claim to be able to speak with the other side? Let me know your thoughts of the movie. Thanks so much for watching. Please help others find this channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing with your friends. Peace, 2 fingers.